Hey guys, it's Sarah, and today we are going to talk about all the books I read in the month of October. There is a good amount, and most of those were in the second half of the month. The first half of the month, I was not reading very much at all. I was very slowly getting through several books, and then once I started really finishing up and wrapping up some stuff, it kind of went into a really good reading groove. So I'm very happy about that, and that's continuing into November. I'm on a really good streak right now, so I'm trying to stay on that as long as possible. But I did end up reading 8 books in the month of October, so let me tell you what they are. The first one that I read was an audiobook that I got from my library, and that is Rain. This is by Catherine McGee. This is book number 4 in the American Royal series. And I listened to it on audio, and it's narrated by Britney Presley. She does a great job. She narrates the entire series, and it was a lot of fun. It's the final book, so I'm not going to go into the synopsis, but it really tied everything up, and there's lots of drama, all the things. It's a really, really fun series. It's young adult, and the whole premise of the series is if America was under a monarchy instead of a democracy. So it's a royal family, they're descendants of the Washingtons, and they are in power. There's kings and queens and princesses and all that kind of stuff, but they're in modern day America. So it was really good. I really liked it a lot. I gave it 4 stars. The next one that I picked up was a book that was from my fall TBR, and it's also an author I wanted to read to zero, so I checked that goal off for sure, and that is Artemis by Andy Weir. This was also a gift from my friend Melinda. Thank you so much, Melinda. And I did end up listening to this on audio, and I knew I wanted to do that because Rosario Dawson is the one who reads this on audio. It's only available through Audible, which is kind of a bummer. I hate that they do that because it really limits your audience. But I do have access to an Audible account, so I was able to listen to it that way. And the narration was fantastic because Rosario Dawson is an actress, and she's great. This book is set on the moon, and the moon is colonized. We're following our main character. Her name is Jazz, and she's a complicated one. She loves where she lives, but there's a lot of bad things happening there, and she's part of that a little bit. She doesn't necessarily run in the best circles, doesn't make the best decisions. She gets in trouble a lot, all that kind of stuff. And so you're following her, uncovering certain things that are happening in this area and just kind of what goes from there. And the science of how the moon is colonized, right over my head, which is nothing new. For this one, though, I didn't love Jazz as a main character. She kind of got on my nerves a little bit. And there was a lot of what I felt unnecessarily sexual things in here that felt like they were just thrown in. And I was like, but we don't need to talk about that. Or, why is this a thing? Why are these men looking at her this way? Blah, blah, blah. So all that type of stuff, there was a lot of it. And every time something sexual got brought up, I was like, but why did she say that? Because she's not doing anything about it. So what's the point? So it was just kind of one of those things. So I thought that was a little strange and not what I'm used to with Andy Weir. So this one was just middle of the road. I gave it 3 stars. It was fine, but I did read it. I will hang on to it because he is an author to zero for me, and I want to collect all his books, and I have now read everything that he's written. So I'm going to keep it, but so 3 stars. The next 3 books that I read, like 1, 2, 3 in a row, were all my 5-star predictions for our last round for Book List Thursday. So I'm not going to go into details about these because I have already done a follow-up for these books and told you specifically what I thought about them. But just a quick recap. We have Kill Creek by Scott Thomas. Really enjoyed it. Gave it 4 stars. Probably not going to hang on to this copy just because I don't think I'll ever reread it and it wasn't an absolute favorite. But there's that one. Grady Hendrix, How to Sell a Haunted House. Really enjoyed this one. It got very, very weird. Very weird. But I really liked it. And the only thing that was really lacking for me was his signature humor. I didn't get quite as much of that in here as I wanted, but I did really enjoy it. 4 stars, hanging on to this one because he is another author to zero for me. And I did really love it. And then Wonderland by Jennifer Hillier. This book blew me away. 5 stars, no flaws. I loved it. And she is now not only an auto buy, but an author to zero for me as well. So loved this one. If you want to see all of my in-depth thoughts on these, plus the synopsises, I will leave my follow-up video down below. So go check that out. I just don't want to repeat it because Many of you have already seen that. And then I felt like I needed a little bit of a light fun read because those were a lot of dark books happening. So I ended up picking up The Friend Zone by Abby Jimenez. I, again, listened to this one on audio. It was narrated by Erin Mallon and Teddy Hamilton. Both were, okay. Teddy Hamilton was fantastic. Erin Mallon was fine. I didn't love the breathiness of her voice when I was listening. She kind of drew out a lot of her words, especially at the end of the sentences. And I was just like, can we just talk like normal? So I didn't love her narration of it. It was fine. It didn't make me not want to listen to it. But Teddy Hamilton was fantastic and I need more from him. Please and thank you. But the book, holy crap, this book was so good. I could not stop listening. All I wanted to do was listen to this book. Every excuse I had my headphones in my ears so I could listen to it. It was funny. It was gripping. It made sense. There was an underlying really heaviness to it, but it wasn't too over the top and very steamy. And the chemistry. This woman can write chemistry like I've never read before. Just you can feel the chemistry in her books when you're reading them, like crackling around you like lightning. Oh my gosh, it's so good. And this one is two people who meet because their best friends are getting married and they are subsequently in the wedding and they do not hit it off very well in the beginning. But of course, things are going to change. Complication, she has a boyfriend, a very long-term, long-distance boyfriend. And she also has some health issues that she's dealing with that she's not fully sharing with anybody. And that is also affecting her relationship status and, things like that and the decisions that she's making. So I did find myself get a little bit frustrated with her in that I was like, just tell him, just say it, But Abby also doesn't draw that stuff out very much. Like, it's there, but there is conclusions for sure. And there are characters in here where, there were times where he would say to her, like, just talk to me. Like, and I'm going, please just talk to him. Like, thank you. So yeah. I loved it. 5 stars. It is the first book in a companion series, so I will be reading the other 2. And yeah, it was absolutely perfect. And then I finally finished A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. This is the 4th book in the Court of Thorns or Roses series. It is the only book I had left to read in that series and any of her series. And the only one now that I need to read written by this author is Catwoman, which is coming up in November. I plan to read that book. And that is part of the DC Icon series that has nothing to do with her worlds that she has created. But I have read officially everything in the worlds that she has created, all 3 of them, all 3 worlds. And I really, really enjoyed this one. This whole series has been more of a 4-star series for me, with the exception of book 2, which was 5 stars. I loved it. That was definitely my favorite one. This one landed on a 4 as well. And it's only because it's so long. And does it need to be that long? No. It was a lot of training in here and building your strength back up and becoming something that you have the potential to be, but you're scared of, which I do really, really enjoy. I really like trainings and, learning how to use your potential and do all that stuff and, have all these tests and trials and things like that. And then a lot of that was in here. So that I do enjoy that. And I do have a much greater appreciation for Nesta now as a character, because in the first 3 books, you don't really like Nesta all that much. But in here, we really get to know her. We really get to understand her. We understand the decisions that she's making. We understand why she's holding back. And it makes sense when you actually listen and see it from her point of view. It does make sense. And I have a much greater appreciation for her. Her and Cassian together. Yes, please. And yeah, so I really did like it. I did give it 4 stars just because I felt like there was so much in here that I didn't necessarily need to read over and over again. We could have taken out quite a few scenes that just seemed like repeats of other scenes. So there is that. I felt like it was just too long, but I still loved it. So 4 stars. And then the last one I read was a nonfiction, and I got the opportunity very early to read The Woman in Me by Britney Spears. I put a hold on this from my library when it came out because I was like, you know what? It's short. Like, I'm interested. I remember Britney and Justin and all the things. Like, I was in it when all that stuff was going on. And I've watched her do a lot of the things that she talked about. I've watched a lot of the performances that she talked about and seen her go through some things. And of course, we only see that side of it, right? So I put a hold on my library. I had like a 2-week wait, I think. But the same day, I got a notification that my hold was ready. I was like, oh, they must have bought more copies at the library because I was supposed to wait 2 weeks, but I got it same day. And I started listening to it right away. So Michelle Williams narrates it. Her narration is fantastic. And the book was good. It was good. I did land on a 4-star with it because this is not like a tell-all juicy gossipy session and you're just like, oh, left and right, like, I can't believe this person did this. Does she throw Justin under all of the buses? Absolutely. Absolutely. This book was more about her family and what her family has put her through, which is awful. Awful. The amount of control is disgusting. And we really saw that kind of come out with the whole conservatorship thing. And it goes way into the conservatorship and what she was dealing with and what she was, missing out on, like her kids. I do not understand how any judge would grant something like this for her. She makes a lot of very good points, asks a lot of very good questions. And I'm going, the woman has a point. Are we not listening? What's going on here? So, is she like this perfect person? No. And she doesn't claim to be either. She has made a lot of mistakes. She has done a lot of things that she regrets. She does explain why she shaved her head. She explains why she beat someone's car with an umbrella. And you kind of get it. So, but it was very good. It was very good. I did give it 4 stars, but, so I'm glad I read it. Also, to wrap up a little bit for Spookathon. So I did read quite a few of these because they were on my Spookathon TBR as well. So the Friend Zone was for my community chest where my kids wrote down some prompts for me and it was 2 people on the cover. So I read this one for that. And for a creepy book, was Wonderland by Jennifer Hillier. That was easy. There was a prompt called Toffee Apple, which is a book that will stick with you and that you're just not going to want to put down. And so for that one, I had picked How to Sell a Haunted House. So read this one for that. And that was it for Spookathon. So I only read 3. I had 9 on my TBR and I definitely did not do that, but it's okay. It's all right. Like I said, the first 2 weeks were like crickets, and then the last 2 weeks was just nonstop reading. So, yeah. All right, those are all the books that I read in the month of October. I didn't have any DNFs. I still have soft DNF'd Hunting Adeline. I still have not been able to bring myself to go back to that one. I don't know if I will. We'll see. It's sitting in my Kindle Unlimited, so it's still sitting on my Kindle. We'll see if I end up getting back to that one, but I did soft DNF that one last month, and I still just have not picked it back up. We'll see. But yeah, okay. Let me know down below what you read in October. What was your favorite? Did you have any not so favorites? And I will see you guys again soon. Hope you have a great day. Bye.